Hi, Great Grizzlies. We're here today. I'm Mrs.Ali. I forgot that last time we did our video, I didn't even say who I am. So I'm Mrs.Ali. I'm a part of the behavior team at Grant. If you've been at Grant before, you might remember me and recognize me. I miss you all, and we're going to be doing some videos to talk about guidance with you guys.
Hi, Grand Grizzlies. This is Miss Lucy here. I am also excited, like Miss Ali, to start doing this again. Hopefully, you get a lot of tools out of this, and hopefully, you use them when you need them. Okay, so.
Hey, Grizzlies, it's Mr.V. We are looking to kind of talk about some of the things that you may be feeling during online learning. It's hard for all of us. So we thought we could reach out and try to help and give you some tools and some ways to recognize how you're feeling. All right.
So yeah, just like Mr. V said, we're going to be talking about what's called the zones of regulation. You might recognize that term if you've been at Grant. You might recognize that when we talk about the zones, we're talking about the different ways that we can feel and what that looks like. Not just how we're feeling inside with our emotions, but how our feelings can also be present in how our bodies are feeling, what's going on inside of our bodies. So we're going to talk about what those zones are, and we're going to talk about what you can do when you're in those zones. And we're going to talk about what that might look like specifically while we're doing online learning. It looks pretty different than when we're at school, but we're still learning and we're still experiencing different feelings, and our bodies are experiencing different feelings. I'm going to get started with the blue zone. So if you remember the blue zone is talking about when our level of alertness, which just means how much we are able to pay attention to and engage with what's going on around us, our level of alertness is a little bit lower. So that means that we might be feeling sad. Maybe you're feeling a little sad. Maybe you're tired. I don't know about you guys. I have a hard time waking up in the mornings, especially if I didn't sleep really well. What about you, Mr. V or Miss Lucy?
Yeah, I do as well. The mornings are the worst for me. So it's hard for me to kind of get started. So I usually like to get up and stretch a little bit or have a cup of coffee, and then I kind of am able to start feeling better.
Yeah. And then another blue zone that can make you feel just not so great and a little out of it is when you're sick. Have you ever felt that way, Miss Lucy?
That is really, really hard for me when I feel sick and I know I have to get up and do things, but like Mr. V said, I get up, I'll take something that makes me feel good. For example, maybe have some tea or coffee in the morning. Maybe a shower makes me feel a little better too in the mornings.
Yeah. Well, and another blue zone feeling that you might have, especially when we're doing online learning, is maybe you feel a little shy. Sometimes I know when I'm in front of the camera, I know you probably can't tell because I'm recording this video, but just getting started sometimes makes me feel really shy, and I get nervous about being on the camera and having you guys see what I'm talking about, what I'm doing. Makes me a little shy sometimes. Maybe you guys feel that way when you're in Zoom calls with your class. So all of those things are blue zone feelings. And just like Mr. V and Miss Lucy mentioned, there are things that you can do when you're in the blue zone. Some of those can be as simple as having a stretch. We have some videos on the Grizzly Guidance page with some stretches that you can do to help wake up your body. Sometimes if you're feeling sick, maybe you just need to rest and lay down for a little while. Sometimes if you're feeling shy, maybe you just need to talk to an adult in your household. So those are all things that you can think about when you're in the blue zone.
Right. Another possible feeling and zone that you could be in would be the green zone. When you're in the green zone, that's generally the zone that you probably want to spend most of your time in. That's when you feel happy or excited, maybe calm, proud, ready to learn, focused, relaxed, all those different feelings that we all kind of strive to have. When you're online, the way that can relate to your online school is you're feeling good, you're focused, your mind is not worried about other things, you're able to be engaged in the class, you might feel proud of your work. Feeling happy, it's awesome to smile on camera because then it's kind of contagious. maybe other people, that makes them feel a little more happy, and the teacher feels like you're enjoying what's going on.
I know I feel that way when I see kids during distance learning. When I get to see your faces, that makes me feel happy. So
yeah, and the whole class just will feel happy, I think. Miss Lucy, if you're looking at a screen full of people and there's a bunch of smiles, does that make you feel like you're enjoying it more than a lot of like frowns and nobody's having fun?
Of course, a lot more. And when we do lunch hangouts and you guys all join us and I see all those faces, of course, it makes me feel good. Especially when I see that you're happy and I see a smile, or I see kitties, or I see house tours, or I see things that you want to show us. It just gets me really happy.
When you're in the green zone, Miss.Ali and Miss Lucy, is that when you feel like you do your best work?
Yes, for me.
Yeah, I definitely, when I am in the green zone, that's when I am able to work my best, for sure.
And so I think that some of the ways to maybe help yourself get back to the green zone is to do something you enjoy. Talk to somebody that makes you happy. Read something you like. Just do something that you enjoy that fills your bucket. Because if you're in a different zone, some of those things can help you feel better and get back to that green, ready to learn zone.
And the next one we're gonna talk a little bit about is the yellow zone. Now the yellow zone is a little bit different than being happy and being mad. It's an in-between feeling. So you're not mad yet, but you're not happy. You're feeling maybe things like stressed. Maybe you're feeling a little embarrassed when you're in one of your meetings in the classroom, in the Zoom classroom. Maybe, for example, like you're feeling frustrated at an assignment and you don't know what to do, or you don't know how to ask for help. Like you're gonna get to that red zone. You can do things like talk to an adult in your house, or maybe ask your teacher for help. Raise your hand and say, can I get some help? What do you think, Mr.V and Mrs.Ali? What would you do if you're feeling a little frustrated in a Zoom call with your class?
I think we've all felt that. I think that sometimes, I know that you definitely have to ask a teacher, but sometimes stepping away is okay. Sometimes you have to step away for a minute. I would definitely tell the teacher, because it gets frustrating. Sometimes you get logged out. Sometimes, you don't get a chance to say what you want to say, because it's like a volcano. The yellow kind of keeps that energy high, and then it moves you to red.
So some things that I've seen you guys shown me the last year when you're feeling frustrated, most of you showed me something that comforts you. For example, a teddy bear. Sometimes if you have access to something squishy while you're feeling that way, sometimes that helps you focus.
I like to just close my eyes. Sometimes just closing your eyes for a second so that everything's kind of blocked out and you can just relax for a second. And that's something easy to do while you're on CDL that it wouldn't draw a lot of attention. It'd be really easy to just kind of close my eyes and take a few breaths, think about something else for a second, and then it resets.
Yeah, and another thing that's very easy to do when you're in the yellow zone, when you're really in any zone, but the yellow zone especially, because you're just starting to get a little escalated, is taking deep breaths, focusing on your breathing. Again, just like Mr.V said, that's something that you can easily do even when you're on a call. People don't even have to really know that you're doing it because your microphone can be off and you could just be sitting there. But deep breaths are when, we talked about this last year, you breathe in like you're smelling flowers, and then you breathe out like you're blowing out a candle.
I know with everything changing and everything that's new and everything we're learning, sometimes we end up in the yellow zone, and that's okay. Just remember some of the tools we give you here, for example, taking a break, the deep breathing, talking to someone, the squishy, just use something like that, and hopefully it will get us back to being on the green zone.
When I'm a little stressed and my mind won't get off of something, I have to make my mind do something else. So I count. If I'm like laying there and I count, I cannot think about counting and what I was thinking about at the same time. And a lot of times I'll fall asleep because I can't think about the stress thing, and I'm just kind of rhythmically going. And it usually works, actually. You can't think of the two things at the same time.
So I wanted to share with you, Grizzlies, that A lot of distance learning is new and it's very different. It's a big adjustment for all of us. So you're probably going to find yourself in the yellow zone or the red zone pretty often. And you know what? That's okay. Every zone is okay. It's part of how our bodies navigate new situations, how they learn new things. And a lot of times when we're doing something that's very different, it feels weird. It's an adjustment. It's something new for us. And so when we're talking about the different zones, when we talk about blue, green, yellow, red, and the ways that your body feels when you're in the zones, none of them are bad. None of them are wrong. It's just how your body is responding to stuff that's happening around you and happening to you. And all of it is okay. We're giving you these tools so that you can learn how to work through those feelings and get to green, because green is baseline ready to learn. But when you're in yellow zone, for example, I know the other day, a lot of you were on your computers and you got kicked off of a Zoom call or kicked off of a class lesson. And that made me frustrated when that was happening. So that put me in the yellow zone. And you know what? That's normal. That's just how things happen. When something that you weren't expecting to experience, something unexpected happened, it changes how you feel, and that's okay. What I actually did when we got kicked off of the computer, because I was with my son, helping him with school, I did the take a deep breath and think about what can I do next? And the next thing we did is, okay, let's restart the computer and let's try to log in again. So these tools, we use them just like Mr. V was telling you.
Yeah, another way that you could use these tools, do you think there's ever any parents that are in the yellow or the red zone because of CDL sometimes? Do you think I've been there. Do you think there's possibly some of the students could actually help their parents find a way to get back to whatever zone they're trying to? Because I know sometimes my son feels fine and I'm really frustrated because I'm trying to help.
Even for you guys, you can easily teach your parents how to do that breathing where you're doing the smell of the flowers and blowing out the candle, because maybe just like Mr. V said, they need a moment to take a breather, and that's okay. Everybody needs that every now and again. That's why we're talking about it. I'm going to talk about the red zone, which is the last zone that we're going to talk about. And again, red zone doesn't mean that this is bad, or it doesn't mean that what you're feeling is not okay. Your feelings are your feelings. It's you responding to stuff that's happening around you. Red just means that you're at a higher level of alertness. It means your body is keyed up. It's really going through those big feelings. And so some of that can look like you're mad, maybe you're aggressive. Some of that looks like you're terrified. Sometimes when you're really, really scared, you're actually in the red zone. Maybe you're yelling, you feel out of control. You know, distance learning, just like Mr. V was talking about, sometimes distance learning takes us to the red zone because it's frustrating when we're dealing with things like the computer won't let us log in, or your video isn't working. When we were getting ready to start this video, I was in the yellow zone because I was telling Miss Lucy, I can't see your video. I can hear your voice. I don't know why my computer won't show me your video. So it could have easily turned into the red zone for me, where I would have gotten angry. What do you think, Miss Lucy?
I agree. And you know, even you right now and me, I can't see you, but I know everyone else can see all three of us. So sometimes when things just don't happen the way they should, you just do it and go with it. But it is frustrating, and we just have to be very patient with everything that's happening with online learning. It's just very different and frustrating.
Hardest part with the red zone is finding and making a choice, because you get in a state that is really hard for you to think and focus because you're a little bit out of control sometimes. And that's the hardest part. The red zone is the hardest to come back from, I think, because your head is not clear.
I agree. And I think a lot of with red zone, just like Mr. V said, sometimes it's hard for us to recognize what we need to do to take care of ourselves when we're in that zone. I think that's where it's very helpful to have a grown-up that can help you with figuring out what you can do. So a grown-up could possibly see that you're very mad and they may tell you you need to take some space to yourself, or they may even say you need a timeout. Timeouts are hard, but timeouts, the way that we do them at my house, timeout just means you need a little bit of time to reset and get your body closer to baseline, get closer to the green zone. So timeouts or taking space might be hard to hear a grown-up tell you that that's what you need, but try to remember the grown-ups are trying to help you so that you can calm your body and you can get to a place where you're ready to learn.
And I think another good goal is to really focus on the yellow zone, because if you can recognize when you're getting there, if you can make those choices while you're still clear in the yellow zone, when you're just starting to feel anxious, you have a better chance of not getting to the red zone. So if you can recognize your feelings all the way through, you'll know when you're going that way, and you can hopefully intercept it and stop it before you're really frustrated. So I think that's the key, is just always being tuned in to how you're feeling, you know, a little sad or a little nervous, not letting yourselves go way off before you try to make a choice to fix it or to help yourself.
I agree, Mr. V. You're very right. For me, I'm going to share really quickly. Sometimes my son just gets in the red without even going through all of those. Just something just makes him upset. And he knows he can't talk to me, because if he gets in that zone, sometimes he just can't. And that's okay. So what he does is he just removes himself, goes to a quiet space, and he doesn't talk to me until he's going down to the yellow zone. And he's been able to recognize that if he's in red, he can't function. So if that just happens to you, where you just go straight to red, just remove yourself, because if you get into an argument maybe with a sibling, or you're talking back to your parent, it's just gonna be maybe a little bit worse. So just remove yourself from that. Find a space in your house where you're by yourself and just think about what choices you have.
Right, and remember, when we're talking about zones, we're talking about blue, green, yellow, red, all of those zones everyone experiences. All of your feelings are normal. That's just something that you will experience. What you do when you're in those zones is how you can help yourself learn how to work through your emotions in a way that's healthy and in a way that's safe. So if you have any questions about zones, you can reach out to us, talk to your teachers, talk to your grown-ups in your home about how you can learn. Maybe ask a grown-up that's in your household, have you ever been in the red zone? Have you ever been in the blue zone? What kind of stuff helps you when you're in those zones? Start having conversations with people so you get more comfortable with recognizing your feelings and then recognizing what you can do with those feelings. Well, thanks, Grant Grizzlies, for joining us. We miss seeing you guys in person, but we're really excited to do lunch groups and get to see more of you. So join us for those. Have a great week, Grizzlies. We'll talk to you soon.